Good morning to all dignitaries, guests, faculties, and attendees. With great joy and immense exultation, we feel privileged to extend a courteous welcome on behalf of Vivekananda School of Engineering and Technology, who has clubbed us all here for an enlightening expert talk on the topic, Building a Strong Foundation. I would now take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed panel, Honorable Vice Chairman Mr. Vineet Vats Sir, Honorable Director General Dr. Ashwini Kumar Sir, Respectable Director Professor Goldie Gabrani Ma'am, Respectable Head of Department Professor Dipali Vermani Ma'am, and Controller of Examination Nidhi Sharma Ma'am. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to our eminent speaker of the day, Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma Sir. As we've all heard, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. To prove this, we have a very famous example with us today. With a huge round of applause, once again, let's please welcome the Vice President and Global Head of Business of one of the top MNCs, Amdocs, Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma, sir. Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma, sir, is a proud alumnus of Jamia Millia Islamia University, from which he did his bachelor's in electronics and communication, after which he did his master's from Jawaharlal Nehru University. He's a proud dynamic innovator and a change agent, enabling his customers to create amazing experiences every day by combining technology and the human behaviors. He did his executive education from IIM Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and also did his nano degree from Udacity in data science for business leaders. He's a cloud certified professional. He loves mentoring young talent and is a mentor at Mentor Together and Atal Tinkering Labs. He also served as an expert and advisor at AICTE and International Solar Alliance. Before repatriating to India, Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma sir had exposure working with and in more than 10 countries like Cyprus, Israel, USA, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Botswana, Malaysia, Indonesia, Canada, etc., to name a few. Currently, he is based out of Gurgaon at an MNC named Amdocs as Vice President and Global Head of Business with a unit of $150 million with 100 plus global customers and a talented global team of 700 plus. Amdocs is a multinational corporation which specializes in software and services for communications, media, and financial services providers and digital enterprises. It provides the lifeblood of connectivity and access to crucial information and entertainment. Their solutions and services help their customers create the seamless digital experiences that improve lives across the globe. Some of their customers are Airtel, Charter Communications, Vodafone, Altis, Bell, Dish, and many more. We are all immensely stunned by your accomplishments, sir, and are extremely overwhelmed and honored to have you among us today. Felicitation is the act of acknowledging that someone has an occasion worth celebrating. At Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, we have always believed in hospitality and firmly stand by our Indian values of Atiti Deva Bhava, meaning guest is like God. And so as to express our gratitude towards our guest, I invite respectable Professor Goldie Gabrani Ma'am and respectable Head of Department, Professor Dipali Vermani Ma'am, to felicitate our esteemed guest, Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma, with a bouquet to depict our love and appreciation. Sir, we are very honored to have you among us today. So I would like to invite you to come up on the stand to share your galvanizing thoughts and to address the gathering.
29th February, year 2000. It was a day when a guy like you, a young guy out of the college and university, asked his father to put keys for his Maruti 800 because he need to go to Bikaji Kama place, Hotel Hyatt Regency, because he was going there for an induction that he needs to do for a week before he's flown about 4,000 kilometers away to a country called Cyprus. And he was very excited to go there. And there were many things which were very good at that time. First of all, he was getting a job in a multinational company and getting paid in US dollars. First job, what you can expect. The second, that the work that he was doing was for a multinational global telecom companies in order to develop the product for the big companies, which was the development work in the advanced technologies and everything. That is another thing that he was excited about. The third thing was that international travel for the person. And the fourth, which is most important, and you will like it, it was the icing on the cake, that year 2000 was the year when Miss Universe was being conducted in the country called Cyprus. And Lara Datta was the winner. So, this is the story of Kamal. So this is my story. So I'll start with this, and I would like to basically respected Vineet sir, respected Ashok, respected Goldie ma'am, respected Dipali madam, and respected Nidhi ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very happy to be part of this session, and I'm really excited to see all of you. And thank you for coming, even if I know it was raining today. And I'm so happy to see good gender diversity, which I always talk about. So I see a lot of girls here, so which is very important for anything that we do. I was asked to. Is it there? Okay. So when I was asked to talk to you, I thought what I can share. So what are the things that I can share with you and little bit inspire you? And I was talking to Professor Goldie that even if I'm able to influence or inspire one or two out of this population, I think that will be a success. That is what I'll call it a success. So I thought about that building a strong foundation. When I meet people like you, they ask me always that what is that I need to do in order to build a strong foundation so that we can build a good career on that. So there are many things, but today I'll talk about only 3 things, and I hope that I'll be of some help for you. But before that, let me play a small video because I am from MDocs and I want to do some PR. So I will play this small video.
We're living through an age of wow moments. There are signs of the incredible digitally driven progress reshaping every aspect of our lives. But this amazing era doesn't just happen. It depends on the work of visionary companies who depend on a seamless digital world where advanced networks, clouds, and business systems form the engine that keep us moving forward. At Amdocs, we are empowering our customers' digital transformation. We get to know their businesses better than anyone, building their foundations for the future, partnering with them at every step of their innovation journey to turn their boldest ideas into reality so they can make billions of users feel like VIPs. So they can make the leaps forward that make society tick and industry talk. Behind the experiences that make the world say, wow, you'll find us helping those who shape the future to make it amazing. Amdocs. Make it amazing.
Okay, so this was a Amdocs video which tells what we do. Okay, so now I would like to talk a little bit about me as a person, so you can relate to. Now it's not. Okay. Oh, now it's working. So I want to start with something personal. So this is me, and I have two kids. My daughter and my son. My daughter is like you. She just started in Sri Ram College of Commerce studying economics, and my son is in grade 7. Now came to grade 8. And since he started in grade 7, he got interested in programming languages. So he learned Python on his own, and today he is running his own website and he is practicing Python. So it is very important to practice what you do, because that's how you learn it. And he called himself as a ethical hacker. So he did a lot of courses on hacking and ethical hacking. And I was traveling few days back, 2 weeks back, and at an airport I connected to a Wi-Fi. It was a public secured Wi-Fi, and when I came home, he pulled the password of that Wi-Fi from my laptop. So this is how he's practicing what he's learning. So I feel very proud about it, because what he's learning is the same thing that he's applying, although in the good things. So don't get me wrong, it's ethical hacking. So, and on the left side, on your right side are my parents, so I live with them. And my wife, she's also a professor. So this is a little bit about me. Now, the three things that I want to talk about in this session is, as I mentioned, that it is very important to have the strong foundation. And in order to do it, the three things which I always say is the purpose. First of all, find the purpose. Make enough mistakes and experiments. And this is about doing, learning, but actually doing the things. I hope you can see there, right, what is coming. Okay, thank you. So, and the third thing which I'll talk about is be professional in what you do. So these are the things. I'll tell some stories around it, and I'll try to cover it based on my original stories, true stories, and also some stories that I heard from my friends and at other places which I read. So let's come to the first one. So what is the purpose? So first of all, we need to know that what do we do, why we do. So why you all are here? Why I'm doing what I'm doing? Why I did my education? Why I did my courses? So the purpose in anything that you do, it is very important to understand the purpose of things that you do. Let me take some example. When I was in US, I was working for a telecom company called AT&T. That was my client. And one day, my boss, my manager came and asked me to develop a program, write a code in order to basically, you understand the rollover minutes. In the telecom space, you have minutes and data, right? So those minutes and data are the ones which you use to make a billing. And I'm talking about a couple of years back when there were no unlimited minutes. Right now it is all unlimited in India also and in US also. I was talking about US. At that time, there was something new which came, which was rollover minutes. So meaning you can have a family plan, you can have a family of 4, you can pay one price, all your minutes can be combined. Let's say 100 minutes, all for 400 minutes. So you can share the minutes. So this was very new at that time. And then you can also roll over the minutes. So for example, if I'm on vacation, I'm not talking much on phone. Although in vacation, normally you talk more. But let's take an example that you're not talking. So 200 minutes you used, and you can roll over this to the next month, and then to the next month. So this was a functionality which he asked me to develop in the code. And I started developing, I just jumped on it and I started coding. I started seeing that, okay, how you will write it, how you will move these minutes to the next month, how it will impact the charges, how it will impact everything, right? But then I didn't realize that why I'm doing this. What is the impact of this code which I'm writing? Technically, okay, I understand, this is important, but why I'm doing it? I didn't realize it until 2 months after it, I went to Times Square. Times Square is a place in New York which is very bright and visible from the skies. So I went there and I saw a huge advertisement on the building for this company, AT&T. and it was like a digital advertisement in the entire building and some big billboards, and which was saying, first time on the planet, you can move your minutes to like to the next month and you can utilize it, right? So it's a benefit for the customers that you can roll over the minutes. So that was the first time. Yeah, so that was the first time when then something like this was happening. So at that time I realized that what I'm doing is impacting the entire country, right? So then I started like feeling about it, and I find the purpose of the code that I was writing. So this is the example. What I'm giving here is that until you know that why you are doing what you are doing, you will not be able to do justice to that job. So now I understand that why I'm doing what I'm doing, and in this example, we wrote a brilliant code which is still running. If you go and search right now, and you will find my name in the AT&T code written. So it feels very proud. So this is one example. The second example which I want to give is about not charging to the customers based on, let's say, a zip code or a city or a district or a country or whatever, a state, right? So I was asked to do this. I was asked that, okay, put a code and write a code in which you don't need to, you can have something like in the city of, let's say, Rohini, you are not charging the customers. So I didn't realize, I asked that why you are doing this and what is the purpose of doing this. Until after a few months back, there was a tornado in Arkansas, and it kind of blew the whole city, and it was a lot of people, many people were displaced. And then AT&T announced that we are going to basically let our customers use the system for free, use the mobiles for free. So then whatever the code I written, that code was used in order to make it free. So then I understand the purpose of what I was doing, right? So it is not only the technical specification which I was given to do it, but at least I was told that the thing that I am doing is getting used by the people in Arkansas who are in trouble and who need this kind of a support. So this is another example, my personal example, which I can give about the purpose. And I always give example of Apple story. You know why Apple is a great brand? When people buy Apple, they normally don't see the features. They just go to the shop and then they just ask for Apple, take it off the shelf and buy it. I'm not an Apple fan, although this iPad is Apple, but my phone is not Apple, and I don't buy Apple phones. But I was in the shop last week to buy a new phone, and I was asking for which one to buy, why to take this one, what are the features. I was asking hundreds of questions to the buyer. And then suddenly a guy came in and he asked, can you give me Apple 13? 14 was not out by then. And then he just took it, he just paid the credit card and just went away. So do you see that why the Apple company is like this? Because they don't talk about the features. They talk about the purpose. They talk about why they are doing what they are doing. And their advertisement, if you see a few years back, they talks about they do everything differently, right? They are the first one in 2004 when they launched it. It was in US, and I was the one basically for AT&T. We were the one who implemented first Apple. So I remember those days. We were days and night. We were in office and we were working too, because it was a big event. It was a global event. Now, so that's how Apple is different. That Apple is basically a company which talks about the purpose. They don't talk about the features, the processors and everything, although they do talk about, but mainly they talk about that they do everything, what they do is differently. So that's why it's a brand. Now it's, once the brand is created, I mean, that's it. Now they move on. And there is another story about Wright brothers, right? You all know Wright brothers, what they did? Oh, very good. So they found the plane, right? And they were the ones who discovered the flights in the world for the first time. And you know, I don't know if you heard about their stories. They didn't had anybody with the formal education in their team, right? And they didn't had any funds. They didn't had any money to fund it. At the same time, it was like a big thing, like today's IoTs and everything which is happening. So they, like everybody was trying to find it out, right? And there was a Samuel Pinpoint. He was like from Ohio, and his team was also doing it. The difference between these two people was, in the Samuel team, which was doing it in Ohio, those guys have Harvard graduates in their teams. They have all the money from the state in order to find something or invent something, right? But there was a difference. What was the difference? The purpose. They were doing it for the money, which is the result. And Wright brothers were doing it for the purpose because they believed, and important is they believed that you need to, if they will crack it, if they will do it, it will change the course of the world. So that was the difference. And lo and behold, they were able to fly their first flight on 17th of December 1903. Although they had no formal education in their team, they had no money, no media was following them, but on the other side, there were a lot of media, Harvard graduates were there, but they didn't succeed. The only purpose is because they were doing it with a purpose. On the other side, they were doing it for the result, which is money, getting rich, getting famous. So this is another story which talks about the purpose. By the way, I should be on the next slide. I don't know why I'm not there. And anyway, I'll continue because I'm already on the next slide here, but it is not coming here. So the second story which I want to tell about is Dr. Martin Luther King. You all heard about him, right? So Dr. Martin Luther King, in the summer of 1963, he did a speech, right? And he gathered 250,000 people in the summers. There were no invitations. There were no internet, no WhatsApp. How do you do it? How do you gather so much of large people? Because he talked about, he believed, right? He didn't talk about he had a plan to do something. He talked about he believed in the movement that he did. So that is another story that is about belief and not what you want. So these are some of the examples which I talk about the purpose, that what you do. It is important for you to understand that it is important for your success. The second thing which I'll talk about is the mistakes and the experimenting. I'm learning how he's doing it. This is not my laptop. Is this a lag? Yeah, in the laptop. Okay. So it will come. So the second one is the talking about the and experimenting. So as I gave you the example of my son, which is about like experimenting. Whatever you do, it is important to experiment. So there is, you know Jack Ma? Jack Ma, who is he? Yeah. So you know, his story is that he was and he went for KFC for an interview, and 24 people were there, and 23 were selected, and he was the one which was 24th, right? So and now he's a founder of Alibaba, and he always says that today will be more difficult, but day after tomorrow will be bright. So most of the people give up before the day after tomorrow. So that means that you don't need to give anything, keep on experimenting. So I'll link it to my story, which I told you in the beginning, my first story about when I was going to induction for a company that I was about to join. It was not like this. If you go back, rewind back about a year, I was part of the placement committee in the college, and I knew that what is happening, what are the questions which are asked, and how do you get through the job. And I will get through it. It is easy for me because I have an experience of last year, right? In the third year, I was the placement committee head. But then what happened when it came, I failed miserably in the campus interviews. I didn't do well. And towards the end, and I learned during the process, by the way, and towards the end, this company came, and this was the best company which came, and people obviously loved to be there. And they selected 2 people. Actually 3 people they selected, and then they called us for an interview in Taj Hotel in Dholakua, and then they selected 2 people out of those, one of them. So again, it is about the failures, and the slide is still here, but it is still about the mistakes and the failures and the experiment. You do it. I'll take you through one example of the business. Yeah, I'll take you through another example of the business, which is about By the way, I'm on the next slide just to tell you, just to tell you the context that I'm talking about the failures and the experimenting and the risk-taking ability. So I'll tell you one example of a business. In my business, there was a project of about $10 million worth. It was a large project that I was handling, and this project was done by a third party, right? And we said that this project was done from last 20 years, and the third party was doing perfect, and everything was fine. But one day we thought that we don't understand what they're doing. So we wanted to understand that how we can do it and maybe save some money for the corporation. And then I started looking into it, I started understanding. Everybody was telling me, Kamal, don't touch it. They're doing it from last 10 years, they're doing everything perfect. If you touch it, it will be a disaster. You are shooting your foot. So everybody said, don't do it. But then I said, okay, let's start it, let's investigate. I investigated, and on one day, in December evening, December night, I decided to take a call. And I took a call, and I removed that company, although there was no knowledge in my organization for that thing that they were doing. They were like developing some products and something for the telecom companies. I took a call, and I decided on one day, against everyone, even my teams and my bosses, I took a decision, and I took it on me. It needs to be before this, one slide before this. So I took this decision, and this decision was successful, and we never looked back. We were able to do the same work in 1/3 of the cost. So this is an example that sometimes you need to take a risk, obviously calculated risk. Otherwise, I could be fired also for this, because it was a lot of money, $10 million project in a year. So, so this is another example which I always take about taking risk. And by the way, if someone tell me that he never failed in the life, then I tell to that person, you never tried anything new. And this is a fact. There's no possibility that you will succeed in everything that you do. Then the third thing, which is the next slide now, which is about being professional. You know, I'm going to tell you a little bit new definition of being professional. So I'm told that it can be presentation mode, so I'll do with this. So, so this is about being professional. So today I'll tell you a little bit stories about what does it mean to be a professional. So the definition of a professional is something that you heard, that somebody who is a doctor, who is an engineer or a lawyer is a professional, right? That's the regular definition. But I'm going to give you a new definition of a professional with the example of two stories that I heard. The first one, and these are real stories. The first one is on your left side, which is a story of Curtis Perrin in the Philadelphia. So this guy is a bus driver, right? And this guy is in Philadelphia. You have train stations, and then you normally it's a downtown area where you cannot park your cars. Is very difficult, right? It's like Chandni Chowk. So what you do is there is a large parking lots, A, B, C, and then there are buses which are ferrying between the parking lots, taking people from their car to the railway station and to the back. So that's what the government have provided this kind of a service. So now this guy is a driver, and most of the drivers which are doing this kind of a job, it's a very mundane job. It's a very day-to-day job, right? They just wait for the people come, and they just wait that let people go and then move on. But this driver is a special, and this driver is a famous one. And how he became famous and how he is special and why he's special, I'll tell you. Whenever someone enters his bus, he greets them and he says, welcome sir, hey buddy, how are you doing? So he kind of try to identify with the person behind the face, and then he knows most of the names. Then if some old lady boards his bus, so he says, hey young lady, what's going on? So he kind of try to talk to the person, and when somebody leaves, so for example it's a weekend, he say have a good weekend, have a good Friday, have a good evening. And then he also do one thing, which is a small thing for him, but it is very big for some of the people. If somebody is sick, or even if somebody is not sick, but somebody wishes, he drops the person, instead of dropping it one place in the parking lot, he drops the person to the car, right? So that he or she don't need to walk. too much. So these are the small things that he's doing, but he's making a big, big difference in the life of the people, right? And this guy became very famous. It came in the media and everywhere. And people started bringing him some food, some cakes and brownies, because they wanted to, they became like a relation, and he knew all the names of the daily commuters. So this is an example of a story of a professional, right? So this is what I call as a professional. So this is a real professional guy. Although he is a driver, first he is a professional and second he is a driver. So this is one example which I wanted to give you from the US, of a central Philadelphia area, of a driver, which I call it as a professional, right? First professional and then a driver. And the second story which I want to tell you is a local story from Bangalore. And there's a guy called Mahadeva, and it's also a real story, you can Google it. This driver, this guy, Mahadev, he was a kid, and he came to Bangalore with his mother, and they were not even able to meet the ends. They were like living on the streets. And then this guy found one day that her mother is not well, and she had to be admitted to a local hospital. So with a lot of efforts, he was able to admit her to the local hospital. Then after a few days, he found that his mother died. So he became orphan. There was a guy in the hospital who was doing some errand job. He was also living alone, and he decided that that guy will adopt him. So that guy who was in the hospital, he adopted him, and they both started living together. And then when they started living together, they were trying to, he was doing just enough, doing some errand work in the hospital in order to earn his food and the shelter. One day, a policeman came and asked him that there was an unidentified body, right? He said, can you bury this body? And he was paid very little money, and he was asked to do this job. He did the job end to end with the full respect and everything. And then soon it started that he became known, and everybody who needed this kind of a job started asking him to do it. And then he started doing it, and people around him also started supporting him. For example, somebody gave him a auto rickshaw, somebody helped him with some money, and the nearby petrol station was not charging him to fill the gas or the petrol for his auto rickshaw. So they started helping this guy, so everybody came together, and then he became kind of known because there are stories in the media which was published for him. Now, if you see this guy, suddenly this guy became kind of a known face, and everybody started talking about it. If you see, this guy is doing a job which nobody wants to do, right? But he's doing the job, and he's doing with full perfection, and nobody is watching him. So nobody is watching him. It's not that, because these are unidentified body, so he's doing it alone. So nobody is watching him. He's doing this on his own, right? So this is another guy which, and by the way, the guy in the picture is a real picture of his son. His son, although he is masters in social work, but he continued the work that his father was doing. And a few months back, the Mahadev, who was the guy, he died. A few months back only. And he kind of buried 80,000 bodies in his entire life, unidentified. Now, one thing I would like to tell you is, in my view, these are the three definitions of a true professional. The first one is the ability to do something which is unsupervised. You don't need a supervisor. If you are doing something without thinking that somebody is looking on you or somebody is watching you, then it's a different story. But here, the definition of a professional is somebody ability to do work unsupervised. Second is the ability to certify the completion of a task. So the guy, Mahadev, was able to certify his completion of the task end to end without even anybody watching on his back. So that's the second definition of a true professional. And the third one is the ability to behave with integrity all the time. And it is important, all the time. Not when somebody is watching, not when you are in the good mood, but all the time, behaving with the integrity. So these are the three examples of a true professional. And by the way, you can have your skills. You will have your skills. But I call these as a power skills. if you don't have these power skills, it is very difficult to succeed. I have many people in my team. There is a one guy in Singapore in my team. He is an extremely sharp guy, extremely sharp, but he is missing some of these skills, and which is not good. And we are, I mean, he's not looked good in terms of in the team. So I just wanted to summarize. So these are the power skill. I call them PMP, right? So the first one is the find a purpose. Ensure that you have a purpose of whatever you are doing. The second one is make enough mistakes and experiments and always take risk. And the third one is be professional in what you do. So I try to tell you all these things via some stories, my personal story, true stories, and some other stories that I heard. And I hope that some of you will be able to relate to it and take it further in your life. So this is my contact. So feel free to approach me if you want to discuss or talk anything further. And last thing from my side is this: if you can take your cameras and it's a 2 question only. The first question is about the session, and the second question is optional if you want to answer that. So if you can, I hope it will be scannable. So if you can tell me about the session, that will be great. Now let's open it for a discussion or questions. By the way, I have few small things. It's like a small cover to the camera with the brand of the company. So I have around 10 of these. So let's start. Who is the first one who wants to ask a question? And first one is difficult always, right? And then it becomes a very good. What's your Hardik?
Hadis Khan.
Hardis Khan.
HADIS.
HADI?
S.
Okay, Hardis. Okay. Good name. Nice name.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to ask, like, you said that you once failed your interviews. So, and you
Not
didn't-
once, many times.
Many times you failed your interviews and you didn't give up. But how did you cope with the fears afterwards?
Actually, the way I see it is, and by the way, it's a very good question because it is easy for me to answer now, but difficult for you to implement. The way I see it as failures is something which I am learning. There is a few seconds which are there, which you feel, okay, why I failed, but then you think that you learned a lot in the process. So I think the moment you train your mind, and by the way, it's a mind, it's in the mind, and it's a biology. It's not a psychology, it's a biology, because your mind behaves in a way that if you think, what you think, it happens. And it's a fact, by the way. Okay. So if you think that you failed and you can't do anything and things like this, it will happen. If you start feeling that, okay, I failed, but the next time I succeed, like Jack Ma said, that today is difficult, tomorrow will be more difficult, and day after tomorrow will be a sunshine. But most of the people stop after tomorrow. So I think you need to train your mind and see that what you learn from this failure. And by the way, you will fail. It's given. I don't think, as I said, I always say if someone say he didn't fail, he or she didn't fail, then the person didn't tried anything new.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And thank you for asking the first question. By the way, big round of applause for him.
A very good morning to you, sir. My name is Vaibhav Sharma.
Tarun?
Vaibhav Sharma.
Vaibhav?
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask, as you said, your son is right now in 7th or 8th standard and he's learning programming and stuff. And you got in touch with that in your bachelor's and master's. So what's the right time? What's the right time? मतलब हम ऐसे कैसे decide करें कि yeah, this is the right time to start and
Actually, it's a very good question, and I think about it, and some people say that for the Indian administrative services, people want their kids, when they are in grade 2nd or grade 3rd, they want to send them to a coaching class. So my personal view may not be the right view, is there's no right time. When you start, when you think about it, I think that's the right time. My son, it was not that he wanted to study Python and ethical hacking in grade 7. He didn't want it to study. He didn't even thought about it. He didn't even knew. But there was a subject of Python in his class in grade 7, and suddenly he became interested, and he started taking the online courses from Udacity, and there are many online platforms. And he started taking one after another, and they are available very cheap. They are available for 500 rupees. Although they say on their website 5,000 rupees, but all the time there are discounts. Okay, so wait for one day, you will find a discounted rate. So, I believe there is no right time. Whenever you want, you can start. And I was talking to Professor Goldie, and she was telling one example about one of the person in small grade, the person got inspired, and he or she started learning about the mathematics and those kind of a thing. So, in my opinion, there is no right time. Whenever there is a click, you started it, and it is all about your interest. I didn't ask my son to study Python. I didn't ask him. By the way, I didn't even ask him to do ethical hacking course. He did it on his own. Although he asked me a credit card to pay for the charge, but it was like 500 rupees. So I think there is no right time. It's all about when you can. I would not say you should not start early. If you can, you should start early. Even if you late starting, that's also okay. Don't feel bad about it. I started in my final year. I was learning C++. And now I'm doing everything, right? I mean, all this technology which you talk about, like IoTs and AI and ML, and all these were not there at my time, but I'm learning on my own. I did a course in Udacity, I think you introduced, on the data science last year. You have a follow-up question, I think.
Yes.
You know, it's like a journalist who always have a follow-up question.
Sir, one more thing. You got the purpose or you founded it?
I'm sorry?
आपने मतलब पर्पस ढूंढा था करने का या you got it, मतलब आपको मिला?
Okay, actually it's a very good question again, and you know I believe that if you don't know your purpose, there will be 90% of the people who don't know. It is okay. It is perfectly all right to not know it. I didn't knew it. Okay, but then what I started learning is that whatever you do, even if you're writing a program or a piece of code, I think try to understand that what is the impact this code is making. It could be a small impact. It doesn't have to be a large impact. Try to understand that what this code will impact in the life of others, in the life of the community, or whatever you are doing. Even if you are writing a. By the way, I'll tell you. When I was in college, I learned C. It was a new thing I learned at that time. I started writing a piece of code which was enabling people to write emails in Hindi. Okay, and I wrote it, and it came in the newspaper also. At that time, there was a newspaper called Hindu. So there was a journalist who came, and he interviewed me, and he put an article on that, because it was a new thing. Microsoft and these things are doing now. I'm talking about 99, year 1999. I started to write a program, which you can write it in English on the keyboard, and it will convert it into Hindi, and it will show you. And then you can email that file. A small file was created. You can email that file with a small executable that I'll share, because that will convert it from English to Hindi. I'll share with you that executable one time, then we can communicate in Hindi. And for that matter, the way I wrote it is, it was platform independent, meaning you can write it in English, Hindi, Punjabi, Gurmukhi, I mean any language, any script that you want, you can write it. So when I wrote it, I didn't know the purpose at that time, but someone asked me, can you write like this? And it was a college project kind of. And I started writing, and I learned a huge thing. I think I wrote about 2,000 lines of code at that time, which was a big thing, right? And all on my own, and starting from the design of it and until this. I did one more thing in the college after that. Although I didn't succeed, I wanted to write a compiler which will basically, you can write a program in English, Hindi. I thought, why everybody needs to know English in order to learn the computer language. So I wrote a not a compiler, but a kind of a framework over it, which will, you can write a program, you can write a hello world program in Hindi, and in the background it will convert and do exactly what you need to do. Although I didn't succeed much in that, and I had to drop that project, because then I joined my organization, but I did that also. So for that also, can you imagine the purpose? Can you imagine the purpose behind it? It's huge if you are able to do it. You don't need to know a particular language in order to do it. And you know, you all guys are privileged. You are here in Delhi. In India, there are many people and many countries, many areas where people don't know English. So they can't learn programming languages. So that's something which I did, and I think, so you need to find the purpose and how much small it is. So sorry for the long answer, but thanks for the question. 2 questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Vaibhav, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Any lady? Okay. Thank you. You want to take mic? It will help to others to listen better.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I would
Good morning.
Sir, I would like to know you got introduced. You introduced. Sir, can I please skip the mic part?
Okay.
Sir, you introduced to us the risk-taking factor in the seminar. So while we take risk, so we have failures as well as successes. So how do we stay positive while we are having a failure?
I think it's similar to what Hardik started, asked the question. So actually, the staying positive is, again, it's a mind game. It depends on what you think, and if you think that you want to be positive, I think you can be. You just need to think about the learning that you did from the event which happened in which you failed. So if, for example, you had an event, you had an interview and you failed in it, right? And it's okay, because there's something which you're learning. So that's what will motivate you to stay positive. So you need to find out that what is the learning from this interview that you will apply in the next one, which will allow you to succeed. So that particular learning and thinking about it will enable you to be successful in the next time, and not to take a baggage of a failure and not to continue thinking about it. Yes. Actually, it's like a psychology kind of a question. But the way I do it, I can tell you with my personal experience is motivation is always coming based on the learnings and the small successes that you have. So there is a possibility that you have small success. So take it and build upon it. This is what I do. I'm telling you from my experience that if I have a small success, I take it and I move forward with that and taking it as a motivation for the next thing. So I don't look for a bigger successes, I look for a small successes. And there are, right? So there are small successes that you have on the daily basis in your tests that you are having, in the studies that you are having. On the weekend you studied something, it's a small success. So take it learning and move forward with it, and that will motivate you that you are doing this. Don't look for a big success. I don't look for a big success always. I always look for smaller ones and use that to motivate myself. What is your need? Key. Persistence. Again, looking forward? Yeah, okay. So the moving forward is again the experiences that I'm gaining. And by the way, one more thing, I think she explained that I'm also doing mentoring to a lot of young kids. So that helps me to do a reverse mentoring. There is a concept of reverse mentoring. So it is not only that I'm mentoring someone, but the person is also mentoring me. And we do this reverse mentoring in our organization also. And that also keeps me motivating and moving, because it helps me to learn.
Everybody tells us our parents, our seniors that the corporate is ruthless. So how did you stay relevant in the industry for 20 and more years? Like when you entered the industry, it was the age of 2G. Now we are looking at the age of 5G. So how did you stay relevant while working? How did you learn while working? You stay updated today also. That you are saying that you are doing data science, ML, AI. As a student, I want to know.
So I understand it's a good question. Actually, to stay, you are very right. As I told you about the programming languages, I learned C, and now most of our code is not in C. There is a few code which is in C, but most of our code is not in C. So in order to stay relevant, actually it's an organization goal also. That organization always wants to keep you learning. There is a learning department, by the way, in most of the corporations. And they do their job. And right now, all this is, everything is pool learning. That's very important for you to understand that nowadays it is all about pool learning, it's not push. So it's not that people are coming and teaching you something in the classroom. It is pool learning, which means there is a platform which is provided, and you are the ones who will be pulling it. So staying relevant is absolutely very important, and we do it based on talking to our clients. So we talk to our clients, we talk to our customers on a daily basis, and each interaction that we do is a learning that we are doing. So that's what it keeps on motivating and keeps on learning. Thank you for the question.
So you have given us examples on how people have implemented professionalism in their lives. So as an undergraduate, how can we implement that on a daily basis in our lives?
I think I would like to remind you the three things which I mentioned here. That what is the definition of a professional in my opinion. So it is all about acting with integrity all the time, and don't do anything because someone is watching. So an ability to do things without anybody supervising you is a self-professional definition. You can claim yourself. I'm a professional because I don't care if somebody is watching me, and I don't care if somebody is on me. If somebody is telling me to give the assignment tomorrow, it's not because that I'm giving it tomorrow. I'm giving it tomorrow because I need to give it, because I believe it is important for me to give tomorrow. So I think start thinking about these things, and these are the three things which I mentioned, which I believe is a professional, rather than based on your degree. I think it is based on your personality and what you do and how you react and how you perform.
It's exactly that integrity comes from within, right? So how should we act like we are integrity? We are acting with integrity right now because it doesn't come all the time. So what should we do then?
So first of all, it will not come all the time. Okay, don't ever think that anybody is perfect. Don't ever think so. Although I stressed on the word all, but I can tell you, it is never all. So don't ever think that it will always be. There will be always situations. In my experiences on the daily basis, there are situations. But we remind ourselves. I'll tell you one thing. There is an integrity kind of a training that we all have to do in our organization every year. Every year. Although they change the training, it's a video training. Although they change the characters and everything, right? Because they don't want us to get bored. But they teach us every day. Every year. Why they teach us every year? Because they taught us once, that is okay. But they do it because they know that in order to do it perfect and all the time, you need to be reminded all the time. So I think the key is to get reminded all the time.
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you.
Oh, good one. Huh? Okay, so let's take last question.
Hello, I am Bhavya Bhardwaj, and so my question is, sir, what are your thoughts on upcoming technologies like blockchain, crypto, and metaverse, and how they can change our lives in future?
So actually, this is a very good question. It touch upon what we are doing on the daily basis. So the metaverse is something that we started working on in our organization, and we are trying to see that how it will allow us. It's a small thing, but it's very important. How it will allow us to reduce the travels. So I'll give you one example that we are launching financial year 23 from October onwards, because October is you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Because October is the start of our financial year. In India it starts in March, but our financial year starts in October. So from October we are doing our financial year planning, and in our major sites, globally we have around 5 or 6 global major sites. So we are planning to do a session in all our major sites and travel there and talk to the people and talk about our journey and what we are going to do. So we are experimenting that if we can use the metaverse technology in this, and we don't need to travel all the places, and it will feel like that the person is there and then talking to the talking to the audience like face to face, and there can be a question and interaction. It will obviously save the travel time. It will save the emission, carbon emission, environment friendly, and obviously it will help us to use the new technology and learn. It is most important. So we are learning with our customers. It's not that our customers are coming back and telling us that use this technology. So we are doing this something in-house in order to change it. So it is going to change the world. Okay, but it is still far away, but this is going to change the world. Thank you so much. So guys, very good audience. I'm so happy to meet all of you, and thank you for your attention. I know it is not easy. It was a 2-room full of people, and I hope you are able to connect with few of the things which I mentioned. I'll feel it as a success of this session, and have a great day and enjoy. It's a weekend, right? I hope you're not, you are studying on Saturday or it's off? You have class on Saturday? Okay, so I'll tell this tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your pearls of wisdom, and I'm sure each one of us will be able to apply this valuable counsel in our professional and personal lives. Your words have left an indelible mark in our minds and our souls. Finally, as an appreciation for Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma, sir, for his time and valuable input he has shared with us all, today we would like to invite Honorable Vice Chairman Mr. Vineet Vatt, sir, and Honorable Director General Mr. Ashwini Kumar, sir, to present this small memento as a token of our appreciation. I thank Mr. Kamal Kant Sharma, sir, for sparing his valuable time to enlighten us and for being a guiding force. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Ashwini Kumar, sir, to present a vote of thanks to the delegate of the event.
A very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I think I need to thanks to Mr. Kamal Khan for sparing his valuable time to be here with us. And I think it's you can say, giving something back to the society from the industry is a very important need of the time. And this is what I think Mr. Kamal Khan has tried to take over here. Because see, whatever we are being taught in the school or colleges, that is not being implemented in the industry once you go to the industry or once you go to the real life. That's the basic difference, which I always keep saying in my last 38 years of my experience with the industry as well as the administration. I could find that what we are taught definitely gives us a knowledge, but what you start implementing once you are in the industry, that becomes your skill. So now this is what is being taught in the NEP 2020 also, that the skill and knowledge has to combine. And I think that way we are really thankful to Kamal Kanji for sparing his valuable time to be with us and sparing and trying to make you see, you keep on listening about technology daily in the classroom, IoT, machine learning, data science, computer architecture, all these things. But what is more important is that the learning from the burning of hands by a professional in the industry, that you will never find in a book. So this is what I think we could hear him, we could understand that yes, there are three purposes, what a professional does definitely mean. I think it's a real good learning for all of you, and I think you will keep learning such activities, such experiences from all industry experts, which we are planning that every week or maybe fortnightly we must invite some industry expert to make you feel that what is really they have done, how things have grown up. I am also thankful to Vice Chairman Shri Vineet sir, who has been kind enough and who has been pushing us daily for organizing such event. Rather, I must convey my sincere thanks to Chairman sir, Dr. Asiwas sir, who has been encouraging me and saying, sir, आप इंडस्ट्री में भी रहे हो, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी रहे हो और आप वाइस चांसलर भी रहे हो, अब तो आप कम से कम बच्चों को वो दो या सिखाओ जो बच्चे आगे जाके इंडस्ट्री में यूज़ कर सकें. So I think we must convey sincere thanks to our chairman sir and of course Vineet sir also. I should be at fault in case I don't convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Goldie, Dr. Dipali, her team and all the faculty members who have been trying this activity for last 4 or 5 days mainly, because this is a beginning. Now we are thinking we'll get more industry experts through connects of all of us to come to campus, share their experiences. And it is also really delighted to see that the students are organizing this function. So I'm really thankful to them also for organizing this very nicely. मैं तो सोच रहा था बड़ा हल्ला गुल्ला शोर शराबा होगा, और मुझे लगता है कि अभी भी आप लोग स्कूल स्टाइल में हैं, क्योंकि मेरे को ऐसा याद है कि जब मैं कॉलेज में था तो देयर वाज नो फंक्शन विदाउट एनी हल्ला गुल्ला. बट आई थिंक आई एम सो हैप्पी टू सी ऑल्सो दैट इट इज ए प्रोफेशनल टॉक, so you could maintain a professionalism in the system. And I think this is really a good initiative by the organizers who have been here, who have been organizing this thing, and they deserve appreciation for the thanks, and also thanks to all of them. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you. And please keep attending such events when they are happening in the campus, because see, I mean, once you go to the industry, you will feel that whatever has been taught to you in school or colleges, in terms of knowledge, in terms of practice, that is totally different, and what you will deploy or employ in the system is totally different. So I think things are totally different, things are changing. As you could see that son of Kamal Kant ji, he is now working as a ethical hacker, although I will not encourage that, because we with the background think that it sometimes deteriorates also. But definitely, I mean, see, this is a creativity. Otherwise, if you see, that is what is expected. And no one is there as a teacher who can teach you, because things are changing very fast. So this is the only way where you learn from the burning of professionals who have worked in the industry. With these words, once again, thanks to all of you, and thanks to Kamal Kanji, and thanks to the organizing team. Thank you.